Just a little update about, and Nick is here, my producer, to help me with this story. Um, Remember, we told you about a 69-year-old Antifa man that died, and this guy died, and Antifa is just a radical, evil, violent organization, but they seem to be supported by the liberals. Fox News is reporting that CNN apparently recently glorified ICE detention center attacker and take it from there.
Yeah, well, you asked me when we brought that story up last time that why is this happening and why do they think that they're right and they get away with it? I think this right here is one of those situations.
Yeah.
You have mainstream media basically saying it's okay. So CNN has a show under them called United Shades of America, and the host is Kamau Bell. And
Kamau Bell is black.
he black.
He black. There's no wonder most blacks don't stand for good.
So Kamau Bell has a show, right? And he hosts it. And on this show, on one of these particular episodes, he was talking about a group of Second Amendment rights, pro Second Amendment rights, and they're also liberal. So he calls them like rednecks, but they're like liberals. So they believe in racism, civil rights, and all that.
Amazing.
So he's defending this group and calling them good people and all that. And what's crazy is that he's showing like footage of this group, and in a little moment, a little part of this clip, you see Willem Van Spronsen, the man that attacked the ICE detention center on Saturday,
Yes.
and died in Tacoma Park. You see him in the background, and he's talking about how good they are.
So here's the clip. William is shown in the episode of United Shades of America, and during the segment, the narrator is praising the group.
Yeah,
Here's that soundbite.
it's just a little. There's no sound, but I just clipped this little part of it. That's him right there. It's a little moment, right?
Oh, that's him behind
That's
there.
him behind there.
Standing behind that.
And this group that Willem Van Spronsen was involved in is being praised and glorified on mainstream TV. And he's not the only one.
And just imagine what would happen if they praised the so-called alt-right people, like to say. CNN, everybody would be having a hissy fit.
Yeah.
But the violent group, they said nothing.
And this guy was for sure. He had to be shot. He had to be gunned down. They got into a shootout with the police. He brought a rifle and everything. And it's just amazing that he's even on TV.
And this was in Washington State.
Tacoma, yeah.
That's
Washington
amazing.
State, yeah.
He had homemade illegal rifle or something, didn't he?
And improvised incendiary devices, and he set a car on fire, and he was willing to go far with it. In fact, all over his social media, he had been posting about it, and he had actually recently, before the attack, had put up like a little letter saying how I'm a martyr. This is something I'm gonna do, and basically kind of talking. It was like a suicide manifesto letter, talking about how this is the right thing. In fact, in one part of his letter, he talks about how he was radicalized in school when they talked about the Electoral College. So I'm reading this going like, I'm reading this thinking, I'm seeing this little Willem Van Spronsen in school being taught about the Electoral College, being told that it's wrong and racist. And he admits it in his letter, how he remembers that day and how he was radicalized from it.
Wow.
He literally says, I was radicalized from that.
That's amazing. I never heard anybody talking about that.
So it's just public school systems, like everything. It's all pushing this slow march towards destruction, towards...
It's they said it was reported he had a ghost AR-15.
Yeah. So a ghost AR-15 is like the AR-15 has this part of it called the upper receiver where you put all other parts in it.
Right.
And that part has a serial number, which lets you track it. But if it has no serial number, then nobody knows it exists.
They also said this guy encouraged other Antifa to get illegal guns as well, too.
Yeah. Calls to
I
violence.
thought the liberals didn't like guns. I never heard a major cry out to ban guns when this guy did what he did.
But when you truly believe that you're fighting Nazis and all this insanity, you're willing to do crazy things.
He reported that he told them to ignore the law, the Antifa people, and he was in his 70s. It's amazing. He was in his 70s when he
7
died.
years old, and he's
To be learning this liberal nonsense.
Yeah, and what's sad is like he's 7 years old and still writing about how he's like empty and like that he's gonna do this, and how he's still feeling pain at 70. He was talking about how he's still feeling so much pain.
No pain, no gain. That's amazing, man.
It's crazy.
And yet the parents send their children to these schools knowing that this is happening to them.
It's
On the, I've just been told that on the same show, Kamau Bell also let the liberals show the weapons they keep to fight the right. Oh yeah, I remember seeing this. We showed this. I think I saw it somewhere.
No, you saw it. Yeah.
Where you're showing the brass knuckles and the knives, and Kamal,
I think,
was glorifying them.
That's the crazy part about it, is how he's like showing this as and kind of like rooting for them. It's like, yeah, defend yourselves.
Yeah, so it was a woman in a wheelchair he was talking to. She had brass knuckles.
Of course they're going to show the woman with the wheelchair.
Yeah, a black woman at that.
It's like, let's show the woman she has weapons, but she's in a wheelchair, guys. It's like everybody else has weapons too, just so you guys know.
And she even admitted she had more either those weapons, the brass knuckles, or knives on her. So why is it okay for the liberals to be heavily armed, but not the conservatives?
The conservatives who just want to defend themselves.
And then at the same time, the president gets so much criticism if he doesn't denounce every single little thing.
So you know how,
about. Yeah, go ahead.
You know how if the president doesn't denounce something, he gets blasted. Well, the Rebel, a Canadian journalist group, shout out. They went straight up to AOC and was like, so are you going to denounce this? I mean, you're the one who's calling detention centers concentration camps, right? So we actually have a sound clip about this.
So here, let's see here. Is this the one where the president recently renamed Cortez?
The one right before that one.
Okay. We have that, Joel?
Yep.
Okay. Let's play it.
Will you condemn Antifa for the attack in Washington?
We'll be making statements.
It's easy to condemn a terrorist attack. They firebombed an American facility. Will you condemn them?
Excuse us, we have to get to
Will you be condemning them? Do you feel like you have some responsibility in the attack with your rhetoric about concentration camps? Are you responsible? Do you feel ashamed?
Amazing.
He kept his cool.
Look like the people I would think that the people on the right would see how these people operate. They don't really, when they're yelling at the right about guns or about whatever, they don't really mean it. They just wanted to control the right, to shut them down. Because look, this woman would not condemn what Antifa did.
And she's been going off about how there's concentration camps. So she condemns the president for saying, "Oh, the things you're saying is going to create a atmosphere of violence." It's like, are you doing the same exact thing?
Yeah, they're always doing what they're accusing others of doing.
Exactly.
That is so amazing. And then just a little note for you folks: the president recently renamed Alexander Ocasio-Cortez to just Cortez.
We're not calling her those three names anymore, guys.
Here's that soundbite.
Cortez. Somebody said that's not her name. It's. They said that's not her name, sir. I said no. I don't have time to go with three different names. We'll call her Cortez. Too much time. Takes too much time. So Cortez also, she said, essentially, Nazis are running concentration camps.
Essentially. I love this guy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing story, Nick. Thank you, man.
Everything.
That's my producer, Nick. Can we hear from Nick? Hey, Nick. Thank you, man. Great reporting.